Hi everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Shred and Soul.
I'm Shred, aka Kevin Wood.
And I'm Soul, aka Wind Hughes. Today, we want to circle back to a previous episode we did on 3i Atlas and look at some of the prophecies traditionally that also address this particular time and what they see and how it may correspond. But before that, I'd like to acknowledge that we will have this episode air on the Tuesday right before Thanksgiving. So we want to give our gratitude for all of you who've been a part of our podcast, Shred and Soul, and who have been part of our community, who email us and contact us and participate and are just there watching and sharing our life and these topics with us, and just want to offer some gratitude for you.
We're truly grateful.
Yeah. So let's jump in.
Jump in.
The updates so far that we're going to go over, but just to review, this came about and it was discovered in early October as it was zipping across our solar system in this hyperbolic path, very, very fast. Now listen to this. At 69 kilometers a second, which translates to 154,348 and 604 miles per second. Can you wrap your head around basically 154,000 miles per second? That's mind-blowing to me.
Yeah, that's really fast.
Yeah.
And, you know, if you were on that comet, it wouldn't feel like anything.
What would it feel like?
Well, there's no friction. There's no air. There's no resistance. So, yeah,
it would be just feeling like you were floating?
Mm-hmm.
I would hope so.
I think you would be floating. I don't know.
Interesting to think of if there are actually beings in there, what they'd be experiencing. And then it dipped, if you remember, going back to that episode where we did the Booga sphere and 3i Atlas, we talked about how it was dipping behind the sun, so it wouldn't be visible from Earth, but it would be visible to some satellites and other things that are out there orbiting or going near some of the other planets. They would be able to have some visual point of view, but not much. And then it was going to come out. It would be invisible for weeks, and then it was going to come out in early November, which it just did. And not only did it pop back out, but it popped out faster than what their mathematical formulas and projections said it would. So they mathematically predicted when it would pop out, but it was coming out faster, speed, and sooner than expected. And on December 19th, coming up, it will be the closest to Earth that it's going to be. So we're going to get much more of a sense of what this is about on December 19th.
Now, Avi Loeb has made some interesting observations. And one of them would be that that off-gassing of, the tail that we normally associate with a comet. It's off-gassing, and it's off-gassing nickel and carbazinium. Did I say that right?
I don't know.
But anyway, there's no iron involved, which gives Avi the impression that this could be an intelligently designed spacecraft or something mechanical.
What do you mean there's no iron? Are you talking about how in nature the nickel and the iron exist together?
Yeah.
That's how it's formed?
Exactly.
But in this, they're not?
Exactly. So that's a big deal. Asymmetrical outgassing, the unusual nickel and carbazinium emission lines. These are the lines that are coming out. You know, they detect this. They look at the light of the material coming out, or whatever it is coming out off the end of a comet. And they can tell what it's made of.
And then this, I want to mention, the non-gravitational acceleration. What that basically means is that technically a comet shouldn't be able to accelerate out of a certain level of gravitational pull. So all of the models said that the fact that it did accelerate is not explainable.
Right. And they took a look at it with the Hubble, right, the telescope. And people looking at that are, thinking that this is the most promising interstellar object yet. That's a quote. And that it doesn't look like a normal comet. Directed propulsion has been suggested as a possibility for the odd shape of the emissions coming off this thing. And basically, the bottom line is these are extremely difficult to explain naturally. These observations, the brightness behavior and the non-gravitational dynamics, it's not acting like a normal comet.
No, it isn't acting like a normal comet, though there are places around the world that feel that it is. So even though Loeb says it shouldn't be changing color, it's changed color. It's accelerating beyond a gravitational pull, it shouldn't. Mm-hmm. It's moving erratically, actually. It's kind of changed trajectory slightly. And the propulsion, which should be all at once, if it was natural, is happening almost randomly as if there's intelligent intention behind it, right?
But as far as I'm concerned, everything in existence has intelligent intention. Everything. So it might not be a spaceship. It might be something else.
It might be.
And so that brings us to other concepts.
Well, I think first, before we jump to prophecy maybe and remote viewing, which is fascinating, I want to just mention that the European Space Agency, which is an organization of 23 countries, I believe, and they work together to explore things in space. And their opinion is that this is a comet, that there's nothing suspicious about it, which I can't imagine them deducing from the sorts of evidence that other people like Loeb, but not only him, are suggesting. But they're saying that it heats up normally when you have a comet. Compounds do heat up. Sometimes there's color flips. Their speed and direction may change slightly, but it's zipping. And that's odd, but they blame any wobbles on gas jets, which means gas being emitted from the jet. I guess ice burns off, moisture burns off as these comets go through space. And so there's an off-gassing that's natural. And they're saying that this propulsion is a result of that. In China, they got the best pictures ever, and interesting enough that when NASA and places around Europe were supposedly shut down for repairs or pre-contracted use, China was the only one photographing, and they have excellent pictures where the ones that NASA revealed were blurry. So it's interesting that NASA couldn't quite get a good photo, but China got really, really good ones, which you can actually find online now. And they got the blue glow and the carbon dioxide jets coming out, and they're saying that they think it's probably a comet too. Mm-hmm. And then we go to ancient prophecy, and the connection here is that many of you know that there are many traditions that prophesied coming changes. The Bible has them, and other traditions do too, and many of them coincide with this December 2025. So we jumped in and took a look at just bulleting a few of these traditions and a short little blurb on what they say about this time and what might the relationship be to Three Eye Atlas.
Yeah, Zohar-wise, Kabbalah ties 2025 to a big reveal of hidden wisdom, like gates opening wider for messianic sparks and unity. Some interpreters link it to a fiery star harbinger around winter solstice.
A fiery star around winter solstice, which is December 21st.
I think that 25, will man still be alive?
Isn't that line in a song?
Yeah, if you know that song,
what song is that?
In the year 25.
Yeah,
but it's 2025. But we're talking about Christmas time, 25. So anyway, the Zohar calls it the shining of the supernaturals. Supernals. When the tree of life flips right side up and every soul gets bathed in Shekinah. And Shekinah is that feeling you get when you're praying or you're having a feeling of oneness, and it's like a soft coddling kind of feeling.
More of a feminine energy. And the
Yeah.
feminine, masculine, not necessarily gender specific, but quality specific.
Yeah.
Right? And so they say that the Shekinah, in a sense, is out of balance, and we need to bring that back into balance. And these coming times will be a time when that light shines again, and we will reintegrate that. And looking at, is that possibly what's happening with the passing of this comet?
You know, I did mention before when we were talking about this, the Zohar and the belief system that many of the ancients had when they saw something coming through the sky, a light in the sky. It was a messenger. And it could very well be that. We have an opening, a schism in time and space where visitors will come and influence us in ways that we either are harmed or we're made better. And according to the Zohar, this could be a very good time for us.
When you listen to some of their wording, they say the tree of life flips right side up, and every soul gets bathed in Shekinah light. And if you think of it as vibrational frequency, as many traditions talk about that in these times, we're going to wake up, which, the frequency, the resonance that we live on will expand and include other dimensions, or awakening. We won't be limited as much. And they say that we will be bathed in this more intuitive inner wisdom. It's in their scripture, which is fascinating too.
I like that scenario better than the demonic spirits coming to Earth from a spaceship.
Check in last episode to find out what he's talking about. What other things? It says, I think there's the important things for that. And then we jump to, if you said what you want to say about the Zohar?
We'll bring up some more Zohar things later, but there are other cultures and other ways of seeing things that we're going to mention.
I think one of the ones that people here are very familiar with is Hopi prophecy, and I'm not going to go into detail about that, but in Hopi prophecy, we are living in the fourth dimension, fourth world, and we are about to move into the fifth dimension, fifth world. And again, that's about the ability to perceive interdimensionally, so it's not like we're all going to zap off Earth, but on some level we do, because we expand consciousness and expand our ability to live and dwell in the fifth dimension instead of this very concrete, limited fourth dimension that we're in.
Now, fifth dimension, we're talking fifth dimension here. We're also talking 25. 5 times 5 is 25. If there's some
numerological Kabbalah.
Well,
that ties it to the Kabbalah.
These Hopis had it dialed in too.
Well, they described, so listen to this. One of the things they were surprised about Atlas was that it changed to a blue color unexpectedly. And this is what they say. We are in the fourth world of separation, which ends when the blue star Kachina removes its mask in the plaza, December 25th, 2025. The blue Kachina. And if you know anything about Native American traditions, the Kachinas are these deities of sort. And imagine in the earlier days how they might perceive things in the sky, what they might call
Kachina would be what you've seen before with the kind of stick figure bent over with a flute or something.
No, that's Kokopelli.
Oh, okay.
Kachinas are different deities and embodiments of a variety of different things. And this Kachina, they call it a Kachina. It's like a god, not the ultimate god. But when the blue Kachina removes its mask and appears, and they look at potentially December 25th, 25. So on Christmas Day, we're going to be awakened. And things like greed and ego, our attachments to things that are not of a high vibration will fall away. And it says people will see the rainbow bridge appear literally in the sky, guiding them through whatever hell the rest of the people are living in. And we talk about frequency. It's important that we look at how to raise our frequency so we can make this transition. The Navajo talk about a cosmic rebalancing that's going to be happening about now and bring us in harmony with land and spirit, and it will happen around winter solstice, and that's a portal time, and a lot of traditions teach about that, and that's the 21st. And then the Lakota prophesies a great purification by the year's end December is the year's end, where visions and ceremonies align people with a new cycle and a shaking off of the worlds.
Wow.
And then we have the Cherokee elders, which describe a star-crossing moment. So again, think of people back then seeing something across the sky.
In late December even.
Yeah, late December. Souls crossing a river like into an awakened unity. It's not an end, it's a transformation. And then you have the book of Enoch, which is one of the lost books of the Bible that was discovered. And the Ethiopian branch, not the Hebrew canon in it. It talks of, and we've mentioned this before, the Watchers, that there were beings, there were Watchers that came here from another world and were on earth, and that they will be descending and returning in fiery vessels across the heavens.
Mm-hmm.
And so does that mean that if it's a comet, it marks the time? Or, as we'll look at in a minute, if it's not a comet and it's a ship or some plasma entity coming down, the plasma orbs are increasing in visibility. Plasma is a living thing, but not an organic life, a concept that's hard to wrap around sometimes. Plasma. Mm-hmm. A plasma orb, which has some of the quality of, and a plasma has intelligence, but they'll describe it as not an organic life as we know it. So, and a form of life or a form of consciousness that's not organic, potentially that. And the book of Enoch talks about fiery vessels that streak across the heavens, and humanity will be changed. They actually say, one of the quotes was, "I saw a burning comet whose chariot wheeled above the abysmal cold." So there's a parallel there, and the book of Enoch talks about this time.
People are drawing parallels.
Yeah.
Well, again, in the Zohar's deepest teaching in Idra Sutta, and Idra Sutta is what?
It's one of their texts.
It's one of the chapters or something?
It's like one of their highest, I guess, more metaphysical teachings.
Zohar is a text that comes from the Kabbalah teachings. Anyway, it's very powerful stuff. They mention in that the comet's called the spark that returns from exile a soul, fragment of the shattered primordial light, now re-entering to repair the Shekinah. Some Hasidic threads say when it passes Earth, it will trigger minor messianic pulses. People might feel lighter. Divine feminine presence of God in the world, Shekinah, right?
Yeah.
Literally, the word Shekinah comes from Hebrew root Shekinah, meaning to dwell, to settle. So Shekinah is indwelling, the aspect of infinite that chooses to dwell within creation, with time and space, within matter, especially within the human heart. So I'm looking forward to feeling some of this Shekinah.
Some of this good stuff, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, and again, they talk about it as the divine spark, that inside. And I think that's what we're talking about when we talk about this comet may have significant meaning. If it's a comet, it may be something else. Maybe we'll never know. But it aligns with prophesied events that are talking about the awakening of the planet. And some of them talk about the awakening of the planet followed by earth changes, quaking of the planet, and increase in natural disasters. And we're sort of in that right now.
Yeah, I was thinking about that. And the way that universally, I think we're perceiving time, maybe not universally, I haven't spoken to everybody, but, the people who I have talked to are describing time as being so fast these days and going by so quickly. And a lot of people are thinking that that's because things are speeding up and we're heading to an end, possibly an era, or possibly revelation, like what do they call that? Apocalypse. So I think that if we do experience a wave of Shekinah, if we can grasp onto it as a collective, we can usher in a new era and be on the right side of it when possibly it does come to a crashing end.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know, all things are meaningful, and lights in the sky and elements of particles and influences of things from the heavens are real, and they are intelligent, whether they have little green men in them or not. So it is a meaningful event, and I believe with all my heart there is something to it.
Yeah. And it's an interesting thing is that all traditions have what we call now remote viewers. And when you say a remote viewer to people, they think, oh, some psychic woo-woo, people can't see into the future. But meanwhile, those same people follow religions and traditions that are full of seers, full of, people in the Bible talking about their vision that they had of the future, when this will happen or that'll happen, or Moses, or the traditions are based on vision and remote viewing, which means seeing into the future. So some of the most popular remote viewers have some interesting things that they've seen. Do you want to start with those?
Yeah, let's talk about some of these remote
Okay.
viewers. Sebastian Martin, remote viewer, he has a TV show on Gaia. He definitely had some visions. Draco-like reptilian soldiers, tall and scaly, in chirostasis pods, waiting for some activation signal, like war or a portal pop from the particle accelerator, CERN, right?
So the actually people with CERN are going to give it the signal. It's like Star Trek when they're in pods traveling through space and they're frozen.
Armies of reptilians coming down to Earth.
Well, those are the reptilian aliens they're talking about. Yeah. So there's a mothership, basically.
Bertie Jaworski on her High Strangeness podcast on YouTube maps it as transdimensional layers, outer icy shell hiding non-human tech grids, then deeper in, ethereal beings, kind of humanoid, but elongated with glowing energy fields, chilling and in a humming chamber. Humming chamber. I thought it was like a humidor, like where you
like a cigar.
store your cigars.
They're big cigars. Even some of our politicians have a fixation with cigars, right?
Yeah, maybe remember that. You
didn't get my joke.
Well, I'm thinking of another joke. We three kings.
Yeah. Bearing gifts. They were under the star.
Tried to smoke a loaded cigar.
Is that what you thought as a kid?
Yeah.
No, that's not the words.
Oh, well.
So then, it's interesting to think in a humming changer, they were broadcasting psychic impulses. So there's this energetic frequency thing again, right? Everything in life comes down to energy and frequency. So this is coming in potentially full of beings of some kind, light beings. And interesting, some of them, when they say light beings, I think of maybe plasma again. We have plasma orbs and things that are forming around us. They can see them, they can measure them.
Remember all the plasma orbs we were seeing above New Jersey?
New Jersey, yeah.
Not along too many months ago, really.
Yeah, absolutely. Along with the drones and everything else. I think we even posted pictures of them. There were orbs everywhere, plasma orbs. So another example of remote viewing or seeing into the future with visions is there's a group of remote viewing that did a study of multiple blind sessions. So basically, these people were in there seeing, they didn't have any contact with each other, didn't know what they were going to do, and they asked them to remote view what they were seeing. And they had hybrid biotech, I'm not sure what that means, tubular halls. They saw tubular halls, and these viewers basically separated all saw the same thing, similar things. Tubular halls with organic walls of pulsing light. Doesn't that sound alive?
Yeah.
Or plasma again? They had AI sentient entities, not fleshy, more like fluid intelligences. I think plasma again. And they were monitoring data streams. And they had an arrogant attitude towards us, like we were a petri dish. So they were up there monitoring some experiment, right? Because in an experiment, you'll have a petri dish where you put bacteria or things to see what they grow or what they do in this petri dish. So that's one. And then the last one that we reference was a group of the International Remote Viewing Association, IRVA. This person, Prudence Calabrese from the IRVA, said she led a team of sessions, 3 viewers, synced on benevolent guides, like the Palladian types, in a crystalline bridge chamber, maybe more like the chamber some of them saw, they see chambers, offering telepathic downloads on unity and tech ethics. So they were offering these to the viewers.
Tech ethics.
Tech ethics, yeah, I guess AI, technology ethics. They're here maybe to help and guide us.
Yeah.
With independent sketches, so unbeknownst to the other, they all saw gentle faces, extended hands, whispering that we're kin, not conquerors. So it was a very benign, wonderful experience. And I think that that's sometimes what is seen by other groups as well. So I think that's a good summary of what the scientists are saying, what prophecy said, what some remote viewers are saying.
It's all up for grabs, I guess. It might even be a situation where whatever you believe is what you're going to get.
Well, that's basically saying we're a simulation of sorts. So whatever your program is put into it, that's the universe you were in a beam of light going to go off to when the Shekinah light shines upon us, and these awakenings that were spoken about lead us to a 5th dimension, and maybe you get to pick your own 5th dimension. I don't believe that really, but
25.
I think it's an interesting idea because, in the simulated world, we in a sense create our own reality. We do create our own reality, but in a simulation, that's something orchestrated by something outside of us.
Yes, that's the big difference.
Yes, and one of the big things I think that we've talked about earlier last night, talking about this, is that sense of things are changing, regardless of what tradition you may look at, or whether it's a comet or it's a spaceship full of lizard creatures or beautiful benevolent souls, that it's really important that we align with the higher positive energies now, even if it's just because you feel that the world's spinning a bit out of control, like the comet maybe.
Or maybe you're spinning out of control.
You're spinning out of control, and aligning yourselves with how you live your life in a way that raises up your level of awareness and frequency. And so if this is happening, you will be ready, because many traditions, often in Kundalini, will talk about the electronic field, the frequency shifts, and the wiring of the body is not prepared to handle it.
Right.
And those people burn up. Some of these traditions talk about when the changing times happen, some people will combust, some people won't be able to handle it, and they'll go crazy or be depressed or not. They will live in a different state than those people who are prepared to receive and transmit on a higher frequency. The radio station, it's like cable, right? They're changing the frequency they're broadcasting on. And if you don't change your receiver, you are not going to get that TV show.
That's right.
Right? So
you have to be in alignment with what's going to happen.
Yeah.
And what you want to do is try to take that positive alignment for a positive influence and be ready. I think that's kind of the bottom line of a lot of the outlooks that we've mentioned.
And even if we're not getting ready for an event, we're choosing how to live. Like whatever the reason is, whatever it is you imagine, we're almost at the same spot, no matter which path we go down. We are at the same spot, which is awakening, advancing, increasing our ability to love, our capacity to perceive, to raise awareness, to raise consciousness on a mystical level, spiritual level. It all comes down to how we live our life.
Right. And how we deal with others, people, and how we work as a collective all goes hand in hand. I think if you can ready yourself for that and really try earnestly to improve the vibration of what's around you close by, the ripple effect of that influences other people. And that's very important to try to heal what's going on around us. It all goes hand in hand with being ready and listening to a higher impulse.
Well, there you have it.
There you have it.
3i Atlas updates.
In the year 2525.
Yes, and Thanksgiving gratitude. I'm grateful for you and doing this together. We really enjoy this.
We have a great
Sometimes I
time
think
doing
it's the only time we get to sit down and talk in length about certain topics. I mean, discover topics. I have such a great time doing it. I really appreciate
and
that.
you're with us having the discussion.
Yeah.
So
Sending comments are really
thank
great.
you for watching and subscribing.
Yeah. And we're
really
all on this
appreciate
ride together.
it.
Right? We're
Right.
all in this ride together. Whatever spaceship we are on, it's heading out in space.
Or even if it's a simulation.
Yeah, even if it's a simulation, what a hell of a game we're in.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'd like to have a lucid simulation where I have some control over how I play my game.
Well, you do have some.
Yeah, I do.
Mm-hmm.
I feel I do. I move in my life as if I do. So thank you again. We're happy to be here. We're happy you're here. We have just a little bit left of this year, and it's going to be a heck of a ride, and it's nice to have you on a journey.
Yeah.
Bye.
Happy Thanksgiving.